Welcome everybody to Japan. We are here for Formula Drift Japan 2016 Series Round 4 here at Okuibuki Motor Park. Hello, my name is Alexi Smith. I'm here today, one of your English commentators for the live stream. I'm here with Ryan Sage. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing great. Yeah.
Great.
Excited to be here for the top 16, starting off good in the top 32 and hoping to carry that momentum down to the last battle in the final event of the year.
Yeah, well, a lot of our top-ranked drivers had bye runs in the first group of battles in the top 32, just because of various reasons, breakages and double zeros, which we've had in qualifying. That's how hard this course is to drive. We had a few double zeros, as you can see there, and so all those guys will be having their first battles in the top 16. So looking forward to seeing them and how they perform. So you can see there this particular venue. If you're just joining us for the first time now. Okuibuki. What the heck is Okuibuki? Look how scenic I love it. There's the waterfall and all the it's got the rule of threes and the in the background. It's like a painting almost. Yeah. So if you were thinking that doesn't look like a racetrack, well, it's not. It's actually a ski resort, access road and car park. And again, we keep saying, well, why aren't you using a racetrack? Why are you using it? This is an insane venue. The whole venue itself, I mean, you can see there, great to spectate. Pretty much everywhere you're looking from, you can see the entire course very clearly. A lot of the spectators also very close to the action, no more than a few meters away from the cars as they make their way around this track. So yeah, it is an uphill entry, and it has a couple of hairpins and an uphill section, a top car park. And this venue has been used quite a lot in the past for motorsport events. What do you call a gymkhana in the United States?
Gymkhana?
No, what's the other name for it?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where people have MX-5s, or Miatas on massive slick tires, and they go around cones. You know what I'm talking about? It's used for that.
We'll get it.
It's those sorts of events. Well, everyone says gymkhana now. Gymkhana style events, rally style events, and things like that. But today, it's the first time we have such a big event here, drifting. There have been drift events here before, but since it is up in the mountains, away from any sorts of towns like that, you don't have to worry about noise.
Autocross.
Autocross, thank you very much. Used for autocross, but today, big clouds of smoke, big power, big horsepower. Drifting is what we're here today. Getting all that cars lined up. I love that. You can see there in the top right of screen, it's actually a moving walkway. It's like a conveyor belt to take people up from the car park to the bottom of the ski lifts.
They're being very precise with lining up these cars this afternoon.
They are indeed, aren't they? Look at that. So this is
a nice little R. See? It's a small R.
What's that?
R, the letter R.
Oh, the letter R. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
See?
Right. R for...
Ryan?
Right, there you go.
Thanks, guys.
There we go. This is the top 16 here at... Oh, my chair is stuck. Ryan, can I throw to you?
Quite hard to move these chairs on the grates.
We've got these awesome chairs here. They're actually bride bucket seats, like actual real bride seats on casters. But unfortunately, we're on some industrial level grating here. It's a bit hard to slide around on. Okay, so first battle, Yokoi, Masashi Yokoi, yesterday's #1 ranked driver. He'll be going up against TOSHIMITSU MASUDA in the JZX90 Shark. Our next battle will be Koichi Yamashita here in the Team Work, Team Well JZX100 Mark II. He'll be going up against the Team RSR S15 Sylvia of TAICHI HISANO. Our next battle, Kazuya Iizuka here in the Team Mori Final Connection JZX100 Mark II. He'll be going up against our next driver, local guy, Brazilian driver, Brazilian-Japanese driver. Brasileiros, vamos que vamos! Kei Takanohashi. Our next driver, Kazuki Hayashi here in the S15 Sylvia. He'll be going up against car number 10, KOUJIROU MEKUWA, also in the S15 Sylvia. Next battle will be a JZX 100 battle. First competitor, Andrew Gray, this year's #1 points, ranking #1 in the points so far this year. He'll be going up against car number 35. See there, Tadahiro Fukada having a lot of trouble earlier today and yesterday, but managing to make his way through to the top 16. Next driver, Masaki Kasahara here. S15 Sylvia, Team Masaki. He'll be going up against Jin Horino here in the 380SX. Ben Sopra Jada Toys. It says 180SX there, but 380 GTR engine in that 180SX. Next driver, Up Garage. Kazuya Taguchi, car number 999. Sponsored by Up Garage. He works at Up Garage. He'll be going up against AKIHIKO Hirashima in the S15 Sylvia. And our final battle of the top 16. First driver, Kenji Yamada, Jama Ken, in the beautiful purple, sort of plum-coloured S15 Sylvia. And another very good-looking, well-presented car here, Kenji Yamada, Tomei-powered Top Tool JZX 100 Mark II. So that is our top 16 battle tree as it will be run today. So we're saying a big round of applause here for the top 16 drivers. So no more bye runs, no more solos. It's all battles from here on up. So to everyone who's joining us from all around the world here on the live stream, whatever time it is where you are, if it's early in the morning, really late at night, thank you so much for being with us. Now the time here in Japan now is about 1:30 in the afternoon. So lovely weather here at Okuibuki Motor Park. Up in the mountains, not too hot, not too cold. It shouldn't be too hard on the cars. Shouldn't be too hard on the drivers either. It's also quite good on the spectators. It's just barely light. It's like light jacket weather with a slightly cool breeze. You can see there's sort of you can see there in the background the ski lifts that lead up to the top of the hill. So this will be our first battle here. Yokoi. He fixed his car. He doesn't have any problems with it anymore. When I went over and had a chat with him, there was a dead power steering rack lying on the ground there. And he was just sitting back in his deck chair. I said, how's the car? He goes, it's fine. It's all good. So looking forward to seeing him battle. We were just getting our photo taken there by Kaneko, the official photographer. So I've been getting messages from here and there and all over the world. Australia, United States, East and West Coast, Northern Europe, Uruguay. Of course, those are just all the ones in English. I know there's lots of other people from non-English speaking countries who are watching as well. Thanks for being with us here today. Here in Shiga Prefecture in Japan. Shiga, you've probably never heard of it before today. It's sort of in between Nagoya and Osaka. So in the Kansai region of Japan. I believe this is Kansai, I could be wrong. see the cars there heading down the hill. As you can see, that is a fairly steep hill for the entry, making the entry to this course quite challenging. It's a difficult balance between getting the car up to speed and then throwing it in and using the angle of the car to slow down. We've seen quite a few guys get it really, really right, but also some guys get it very wrong. Okay, so we're about to get ready for the top 16 battle. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes after this commercial break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back here at Formula Drift Japan 2016 series. Round 4 at Okuibuki. We're about to begin the top 16 battle. We have our cars staged down there in the hot pit. You can see down there at the bottom of the hill. Can we see it from this angle? Yeah, you can just see them. They're just there. In this lovely venue, this lovely hilly venue, Okuibuki. It's usually a ski resort, but it's a battle zone today. Hello, my name is Alexi Smith. I'm here with Ryan Sage. We are your English commentators today. Well, we're not English. We are your commentators that we're commentating in English. I'm Australian. He's American. We're in Japan. We're here to watch some drift. So, top 16 about to start. Now, this is the last round of the year, which means championship is going to be won or lost at this particular round. So we're just looking at the points. Ryan, how are the points looking for this series?
Well, you know, Andrew Gray's had another phenomenal season. He's racked up 262 points to date out of a possible 300 coming into this round. Second behind him is Hayashi, who's got 193. So for Andrew Gray, this battle is extremely important because as soon as he gets into the grade 8, it's going to be out of reach, even if Hayashi or Yokoi, who's currently sitting in third, were to win the event. So it's going to be, it would be pretty close. We'd have to factor in qualifying points, but it looks like Andrew Gray just needs to win this battle against Fukada, which is not an easy ask. But if he makes it into the grade 8, he is one step closer, pretty much a guarantee to his back-to-back championships.
Okay, so with the back of the napkin calculations, it looks like that if Andy makes it through the top 16, he'll have it sewn up. The other interesting thing here at this round is the battle between Hayashi and Yokoi. Hayashi, 193 points, Yokoi 190. Now, Hayashi has said he doesn't want to win the championship, he just wants to beat Yokoi in the ranking. And because they are both local boys, similar cars, and it may be possible for him to do that. But speaking of Yokoi versus Hayashi, here's Yokoi versus Masuda. Yokoi leading, Masuda in the Shark following. It's our first battle of the top 16. Yokoi, good fast run for both these guys so far. Big angle there from Masuda in the following, but Yokoi, great lead run there, launching it out of the outer zone into the inner clip, down the hill. Really good lead run there from Yokoi, but Masuda not falling behind at all, managing to keep up with Yokoi for the entire run.
Well, we always talk about how you need to have a good lead in order to have at least a shot at a good chase, and what we see here from Yokoi is pretty standard operating procedure. Nice initiation, good flick, fills that zone pretty well. Masuda is trying to keep him in sights here, and then wrapping around nice and tight at the beginning of that outer zone and the end of the outer zone is Yokoi. So a solid lead run from Yokoi, but you can see Masuda is pretty much with him the entire way down. So Yokoi still has some work to do here as this battle is pretty close after run number 1.
Yeah, it was a good run from both these guys. Of course, at the top of the course, the long outer zone 2. You see that Masuda was not quite as much angle, and his line was a little bit off compared to Yokoi. But the fact that Masuda was that close to him, especially in the heading towards the downhill, showed that he was by no means
watch those cones.
falling behind.
I knew
Okay, was that Masuda again?
Yep,
it was.
The little butt of his car got kicked one out of its spot.
So Masuda in the Shark JZX90, he had 2 cone hits on his first. Oh, that was a bad way of saying it. He ran into the cones on the start line 2 times on his top 32 battle, and of course, if you do that 3 times, it's an automatic loss. Is that right?
Automatic 0 for that run.
For that run. Okay, so that's not what he wants here. Of course, that would be what Yokoi wants. You can see it. I mean, how fat is that car? You can't blame him for hitting the rear of that car on something every now and again. Of course, the entry lanes at this particular venue. A little bit narrower than normal, just due to the fact that the road that right literally at that spot is a little bit narrower than it normally would be. But that's just a part of the track that these guys have to deal with. Okay, here we go. Second run now. This time, Masuda. Oh, he's done it again.
Strike 2.
You can see the cone there fly up.
Come on, buddy.
Come on, dude. He hit the cone once more. You can just see it pop up on screen there.
See, now the pressure's really on because he's sitting on those 2 strikes, and even if he were to go very, very precise and calculated through here, you know, when you are on the edge of the precipice.
Yeah. Yeah,
You just make the mistake even though you're paying such close attention.
That's right.
We've seen it once before this season, and it can happen.
Who was the one who did it? Was it in the United States series?
It was in FD. It was in the Canadian round.
Okay.
With one of the Canadian drivers.
I see. Okay. So here we go. So watch the cones. Watch the car on the left. Masuda, you can't screw up again. Because the Yokoi slightly jumping the start. Oh. Whoa! He's hit it again. He's done it again. What are you doing? Automatic 0 for Masuda. Oh dearie me.
He's got to be pretty.
He's a bit
angry.
He's a bit, the little angry flick there. Oh dear. Masuda. I mean, that was a very clear, that wasn't even a tap. That was, he knocked it right over.
So Yokoi, pretty easy pathway so far. By run in run number 1.
Wow.
3 strikes, you're out in run number 2, and he's already in the grade 8.
All right. Lucky Yokoi here, as you can see his grinning face there on the right of the screen. 1, 2, 3 in favor of Masashi Yokoi. No.
Bump, bump, bump.
Toshimitsu Masuda. So Yokoi parks it up. Oh dear. I mean, yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, what can you say? It's not that. I mean, everybody, you know what they say, but what was the line in Days of Thunder? There's 40 other jokers out there who, you know, who aren't hitting the cones, if you want to change
aren't hitting the other drivers?
Quote. Yeah, that's whatever he said in the movie, yeah. So, well. Oh, dear. Anyway, so Yokoi. So Yokoi, one step further towards the final. Okay, so lining up our next battle now, we have Koichi Yamashita. Champ Yamashita, as his nickname is. Old school driver there. In this very well presented JZX 100 Mark II. It's got a new rear mounted radiator for this meet. Versus HISANO in the S15 Silvia. Now this course, due to the uphill, does seem to favour smaller, lighter cars like the Silvia. So let's see how close he can get on his entry. Yamashita pulling ahead slightly. Big gap there. Nice line there for Yamashita, filling the outer zone there. Just tagging the inner clip there. Not quite as wide. HISANO doing a really good job of filling the outer zone number 2. HISANO keeping up with Yamashita on the downhill section, tucking right in. Yamashita running a little bit wide. HISANO using that to his advantage to get right up against Yamashita's door. That was a really good follow run there for HISANO on many parts of the course.
Well, we've seen HISANO close out these runs pretty incredibly in the top 32 and in his practice runs here, and he does it again against Yamashita. Yamashita does get a gap here, and you can see he does fill that first outer zone, that very important zone. He's really tight on that first inside clip. Pretty decent job here on the second outer zone. He's deeper towards the latter part of the zone there, then into zone 3, and then right here HISANO is going to tuck up on the inside, put a little bit of distance, close the distance between him and Yamashita, and try to give himself a fighting chance to take home this win and move on into the top 16. So now they'll switch it up. Yamashita will go to the chase position, and HISANO will go to the lead.
Okay, so we saw in the first run that Yamashita did pull away a fair bit from HISANO. A few drivers have had various techniques, strategies for their entries. A lot of people do sort of leave a gap, but this time, Yamashita not leaving a gap at all. Maybe HISANO a little bit too slow. Whoa, a lot of angle. Slowing down HISANO. This is going to give Yamashita a chance to get up close to him. And he is right up against his door, keeping up with him, shadowing his angle. Now Yamashita has to throw it hard down the hill to keep up with, which he manages to do. Hisano pulling away slightly. It seems Hisano seems to be a bit more agile than Yamashita does on this course. This is going to be a difficult one to judge, I think.
Well, Hisano starts off strong on initiation, but he's not able to pull it off as cleanly as Yamashita did. You can see right there, a little slow down, then acceleration into initiation. Big angle here, and then right there, he's going to kind of just lose a little bit of angle, have to pull some out, tapping a few cones along the way, but he really good job on this second outer zone. I mean, that rear bumper was all the way against the wall. Right here, it's a little bit down on the angle, but you can see overall a pretty solid run and a much closer run than I think you would think on at first face. But let's take a look at this again one more time with Hisano in the lead position.
Yeah, he's a little bit slow on this entry here too compared to a lot of people. He was like that in top 32. A good angle though, but yeah, it was kind of slow and really late on his angle as well. But this part of the course, he does exactly what he needs to do, filling that second outer zone out towards the wall and throws it down the hill. But on that last part of the course too, Yamashita sort of matching his speed, his line, and his angle. So maybe the judges will be hard on the fact that Hisano wasn't as aggressive as Yamashita was, and it looks to be that way. Andy Yen, Robbie Nishida, Ryan Lantain, the three judges there giving the score in favor of Koichi Yamashita. So moving on to the Grade 8. I got to use the right terminology. Grade 8. Koichi Yamashita in the Weld JZX 100 Mark II. So Hisano, good driving from him there on parts of the course, but I think, of course, the most impactful part of this course is that first corner, which is also the last corner. And it was quite weak there for him, very weak. Not very sort of gutsy driving compared to a lot of the other guys here, so I think that might have affected him. Okay, let's move on. Next battle now. Kazuya Iizuka versus Kei Takanohashi. Iizuka on the left there in the Mark II. Takanohashi there on the right in the S15 Sylvia. Iizuka has been doing really well this weekend. I don't want to put the jigs on him, but I think he's going to go fairly far in this competition. Nice, good angle there from Iizuka, keeping his speed up, the important thing there, but Takanohashi right up against him. Let's watch how they do around this outer zone number 2. Takanohashi doing a good job of falling back a little bit there. Iizuka keeping a really good average speed through the entire course. He's not really speeding up and slowing down. He kept a good speed throughout the entire course. Very smooth, clean run there for lead car Iizuka.
Yeah, putting down a solid lead is Iizuka here, and Takanohashi, like you said, fell off towards the end. Let's take a look at this from the beginning here. You can say Iizuka, good start, nice, smooth initiation. A little bit slow rate to angle, but keeping it conservative and keeping the line in mind here. You can see he's pretty deep into the outer zone. Takanohashi surges here. He's able to get to the door of Iizuka, but then here Iizuka accelerates, moves away from Takanohashi, pulls a little bit of distance there towards the end, and heading back down the hill as they'll switch things up, and we'll go for run number 2.
You can see there where he fell off. We've seen a few other cars fall off at that point too. It's a point of the track when you really have to get hard on the accelerator, and some cars and some drivers seem to be able to get the power down to the ground and push the car forward, whereas other drivers just tend to smoke it up and slow down. All right, here we go. Second run now. This time Takanohashi leading, Iizuka following. Okay, good. Whoa, really close there for Iizuka. Whoa, right up against the door of Takanohashi, keeping his angle up. Look at Iizuka following Takanohashi right up against the rear of his car all the way around. Watch him throw it down the hill here. Iizuka keeping it clean for the entire track. That is probably the closest entry we've seen so far between two cars that didn't result in a collision so far.
Well, this is a great bit of driving here from Iizuka in the chase position. Watch, he keeps Takanohashi in his sights here. Takanohashi initiates, Iizuka closes and stays super close. Now he keeps the car at angle even though he fell off for just a second, but the impressive part was done, and then he gets back on it, maintains close proximity basically all the way through. Now it's a solid lead run from Takanohashi, but when you cannot get away from Iizuka like that, and Iizuka had a solid lead run on his own, I have to say that it's probably going to go in the favor of Iizuka.
I have to say that too. Actually, okay, here we go. So Andy Yen, 1, Iizuka, Robin Ishida, Ryan Lantain, 3 for Kazuya Iizuka in the white JZX 100 Mark II. Great job from him. Great job on that following run there from Iizuka. Of course, TAKANOHASHI. Good run from him too, but just shadowed out there by Iizuka. Actually, I've known Iizuka for a long time now, and his mother actually drove up last night, actually this morning. She left at 3 a.m. and drove all the way down here to watch him drive when she heard he was doing quite well. So she said she got off work, got in the car and just drove straight down.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Kazuya, still a young guy, but he's been drifting ever since he got his license. So not doing that well this season so far, but we'll see how far he can get today. Okay, let's move on to our next battle now. Hayashi versus MEKUWA. Now Hayashi in the S15 Sylvia. Yesterday's number 2 qualifier. He'll be going up against MEKUWA in the yellow S15 Sylvia. Okay, we can hear them revving up. Okay, here we go with the start. Hayashi, the blue S15 Sylvia leading. MEKUWA, yellow Sylvia following. Okay, nice entry from both these guys. Good angle from both of them. MEKUWA slightly catching up with Hayashi on the entry. Watch him flick it back here into outer zone number 2. The angle of Hayashi is really good so far. Again, throwing it down the hill. Okay, good following run from MEKUWA, but the average angle of Hayashi was really high throughout the entire course compared to MEKUWA. And
well,
his speed was still quite good too.
A really solid start here from both these drivers, but I totally agree with you that Hayashi had the better of the angle overall, and he seemed to be a bit more dynamic. I mean, very, very Yokoi-esque. And you can see here on initiation, pretty decent job feeling that. MEKUWA stays with him here. I mean, MEKUWA is fighting a really good battle here, but Hayashi, big angle in the car, fills that zone completely. MEKUWA on the inside attacking here. And then Hayashi right here, big angle down the hill, nice and tight on that inside clip, but MEKUWA is not letting him get away. This is a close battle here. Hayashi maybe a slight edge for a solid lead, but now MEKUWA has an opportunity to do the same thing in his lead run.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like there that Hayashi was like the lead car, and like he was leading, and MEKUWA was just sort of there with him, rather than it being that much of a battle. So, like Ryan just said, we are going to swap it round. Of course, you know what we're doing at these events. This time, MEKUWA in the yellow S15 Silver will be leading, Hayashi following. Now, it was a very stout lead run there for Hayashi. Let's see what he can do up against MEKUWA. Watch the entry here. Okay, early entry from both these guys. Similar to what we saw in the first one, MEKUWA, a lot of angles. Hayashi, not quite as much angle. Let's watch them go around the second outer clip. Okay, good angle from both these guys. Hayashi catching up with MEKUWA slightly. Matching MEKUWA's angle throughout the entire course. See now. Compare that to the first run. MEKUWA had, Hayashi had really good angle on the first one, MEKUWA not so much, but on this run they were pretty much even.
Yeah, let's take a look at this here. Definitely nuancing these points as we see MEKUWA take the lead, Hayashi in the chase position. Really close run here. A great outer zone. I have to say that MEKUWA got that outer zone a bit better than Hayashi. Nice and tight on that inside clip. Hayashi keeping him in his sights, scraping the bumper right there. I mean, this is a solid lead run for MEKUWA. And remember, he was right there in the chase position. I mean, this is going to come down to just a matter of degrees. And I wouldn't be surprised if we possibly see one more time.
Yeah, just seeing it from that different angle, how close he was to all the clipping zones. All the way out to the edge. Watch him flick it back here. Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a one more time. I mean, there are positives and negatives. Seem to have balanced out fairly well. Love that part of the course. It's very unlike any other track that Formula Drift has driven on so far here in Japan. Of course, that particular part of the course, if you haven't noticed there, as they enter here and go over, that is actually a bridge right there that goes over a river. So Great proximity to the wall there. Of course, you know, running the wall is not really a thing that's judged quite so much here, but it does look very cool. So MEKUWA and Hayashi, just waiting for a result from them. You can see there the pits in the background. All right, here we go. So Hayashi, 1 for Hayashi in the blue car, 2 for Hayashi, and 3. So overall, the positives of Hayashi's aggressive driving. The judges feeling that's a bit better than MEKUWA's effort, even though that was a very closely matched battle so far. Actually, we're just going to get one of the judges on the mic now. Ryan Lantane.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So when I looked at Hayashi's run in the lead, he did really well all around the course. It was really smooth. The car flowed really well, and he had a good degree of angle at outside zone 3. MEKUWA had a really good lead run as well, but I felt that his angle at outside zone 3 was a lot less.
Yeah.
He reduced his angle through there, and like Ryan said earlier, this comes down to a few degrees here. This is a really tight battle, and I really liked Hayashi's mimic. I felt that he mimicked MEKUWA better than MEKUWA mimicked him, so that's why I gave the win to Hayashi.
Okay, well there you go. So if you're sitting at home, I highly insist that you judge along with us, because you will get a lot more out of this. And if you disagree with what the judges say, you get the explanation. Maybe you can come to understand drifting a bit better and hopefully enjoy it just as much as we are today. Okay, next battle, Andrew Gray, current points champion, up against FUKADA. JZX 100 battle, big Toyota sedan battle. Andrew Gray leading. Okay, good angle from Andrew Gray so far, but FUKADA right there with him. Slowly beginning to catch up with him. Let's see if they can get the powers in. Andy rocketing out of the outer clip. And FUKADA just sort of stalling up slightly. He ran a little bit too wide there. I think he threw it in with a bit too much power. Headed out towards the wall, towards the foam barriers. Not wanting to hit those foam barriers. It looked like he backed off a little bit there towards the end.
Well, it's a little bit of a tight line approach here for Andy Gray. And for FUKADA's spotter, it's an opportunity to run a better lead. You can see Andy's a little bit tighter here. FUKADA made a little bit of a mistake coming out of inside or outer zone number 1. And then there's some separation here. So it's not a lost cause for FUKADA, but he just needs to really focus on his lead run and hope that Andy Gray falls back or makes some mistakes.
FUKADA, a regular competitor here in Formula Drift Japan. Had a bit of trouble yesterday with a twisted propeller shaft, managed to fix that. Get in one qualifying run, which got him into today's competition, into the top 16. And now he's leading up against the current points champion, Andy Gray. FUKADA leading. Watch the entry here. Good, nice even entry for both these guys. Andy getting the nose of the car in there, up against FUKADA. Out of zone. Andy taking a very, very shallow line, sacrificing his line for proximity. Both these guys throwing it down towards the final corner. Now we had really good proximity there for Andy Gray, but sacrificing a lot of speed and his line in the second outer zone, which is a very long and very important part of the course.
Yeah, it's not the best Andy Gray we've seen, but I think he's going for the strategy here. He knew that there was maybe some criticisms that could have been made against his lead run that was a little bit tighter here, so he wanted to make sure that FUKADA did not get away. Now he was able to do that, but he ran a much tighter line. Now FUKADA's lead run, on the other hand, is maybe similar to Gray's in some instances, so you would think that coming out of this that there might be a slight edge to Gray just based on proximity. So we'll have to see if the judges think that as well. And here's another look at this chase run of Gray with the lead run of FUKADA.
You can see there Andy taking a very narrow line there as well. That isn't the kind of line that the judges want to see. Also here, the line he's taking, very narrow compared to FUKADA, and also compared to what the judges do want to see. Also, although they're very good at that part of the course too. So I don't know. We'll see what the judges have to say about that. There was a lot of good about those runs and a bit of bad about those runs. We've seen the judges forgive people before for that sort of thing, but Andy obviously. So there we did get one more time, but obviously Andy overall very powerful looking run. Lead and follow. So Andrew Gray moving on to the top 16, to the Great 8. So does that mean, that may mean then that it's the championship for Andrew Gray.
I would say unofficially, yeah.
Unofficially.
It'll definitely be if he makes it into the Final Four, but according to my, like you said, my
back of the napkin
calculations, it's right there. I mean, it would require Hayashi to or Yokoi to win the event. Yokoi is going to receive some high qualifying points because of the number one qualification, so he would have a better shot than Hayashi, but it's really going to be really hard if Gray makes it past this next round.
Okay, so he'll be going up against the winner of this next battle here. We have Masaki Kasahara, Jin Horino. Kasahara leading S14 Sylvia, Horino 180SX following. Very, very deep entry there for Kasahara. Horino not very close to him. Great line here from Kasahara, filling the outer zone out towards the wall there. Horino a little bit far back. Similar line and angle to Kasahara, but proximity way off there. Yeah, good lead run there from Kasahara, but Horino sort of almost nowhere to be seen.
Well, a lot of times when you see these lead drivers get a big gap, one of the things to focus on is, are they on a tighter line? Are they taking the faster line? But in the case of Kasahara, he runs a really wide line here. You can see Horino's trying to fight here to close the door. Kasahara's maintaining the line that is necessary, and it's the widest one possible. So he did a great job on outer zone 1, nice and tight on inside clip 2, or inside clip 1, and then back down the hill to inside clip 2. You still have a 4 or 5 car gap. So Kasahara did what he needed to do in the chase or the lead position, and now he has an opportunity to really put an exclamation point on it by staying nice and close on this next run.
Yeah, Horino in his first battle in the top 32, he took a hit by Sheng Nian right at the end of the entry, right up against the rock wall. So hopefully he might be thinking, hope that doesn't happen again, because he just barely managed to spin out and avoid crashing into the rock wall. So here we go, Horino this time leading, Kasahara following. Horino, great fast entry from Horino, a little bit shallow in the angle, but still good line to the scream of that twin turbo V6 from Horino. Kasahara catching up with him. Kasahara, great speed there. Sort of wobbling a little bit there towards the exit of the course. But to Horino, good lead run there, but then Kasahara just reeling him in like a big fish over the second half of the course.
Yeah, definitely much better on the second half. You can see Horino gets a great jump out of the chicane. Good initiation here. A little bit slow on his rate to angle, a little bit of hesitation there from Horino. Maybe gave him a little bit more speed going up the hill. He didn't get right to angle there, but at this point in the course, Kasahara is on the tack on the inside here. Close the door, stay with him. And then down the hill here, you can see Kasahara's on a little bit of a tighter line, but he's keeping him in his sights here. Yeah. So the judges will take both runs into account. We'll find out if we've got ourselves a winner here, that we'll move on into the grade 8.
So Horino taking quite a wide line. See, yeah, so he goes to angle, waits for a second, and then goes to more angle. That's not really the sort of thing we like to see at this course. We have seen other drivers just throw it directly to full angle and hold it, and use the speed of the car, the angle of the car to slow down. Yeah,
that's the one negative of that last little turn there, as you could see Kasahara was kind of like that. He was at low angle trying to close the door, but was it long enough to throw to one more time, or was it okay and will he get the win?
I don't know. If it was me, I'd sort of say it was okay, because he was still driving very aggressively. He wasn't sort of backing off in order to avoid crash. I mean, he was backing off on purpose. So, but then again, he was still backing off. So we have one more time, 2 one more times.
There you go.
3 one more times. There you go. So the pluses and the minuses of those runs balancing each other out to the judges. Horino, Kasahara. We are going to have a one more time between those two. Okay, so we're moving on to our next battle now. Car number 999. Kazuya Taguchi up garage sponsored car up against Akihiko Hirashima. Hirashima taking out Matsukawa in the first battle, I believe, because due to mechanical issues of Matsukawa's car blew his. He blew his diff after the first run. So Hirashima getting a bye through, and Taguchi also on a bye. So this is going to be hopefully the first double battle for these guys. So Taguchi, sort of a bit of a slow entry there for Taguchi. Hirashima catching right up to him. Watch them as they go around the outer clip number 2. Nice angle from both these guys. Hirashima winding on the angle. Oh, and slowing down a bit there. Taguchi keeping his speed, keeping his angle and line. Looking really good. Powerful exit to the course there for Taguchi. A few little mistakes there from Hirashima in the following car, the orange S15 Silvia.
So good start here from these two drivers. Taguchi in the lead, Hiroshima in the chase position. Taguchi coming down into initiations. Pretty decent roll into that first outer zone. Hiroshima keeping him in his sights here as they wrap around that first inside clip. Taguchi wide line here, trying to stretch all the way out to finish that second outer zone into the third outer zone. Little bit of an advantage here to Taguchi on the latter part of the course as he has some separation while maintaining good angle and the right line. So now Taguchi will chase down Hiroshima as we get to the second run here in this top 16 battle.
I just had a little comment there. Someone saying you have an Australian quoting an American NASCAR movie at a Japanese drift event.
Ah.
He said, that's what's up.
That's what's up.
We're worldwide here at Formula Drift. Worldwide, I tell you. Okay, here we go. Hiroshima leading the orange S15 Silvia. Taguchi following. Again, very similar entry to the first run there between Hiroshima and Taguchi. Hiroshima, yeah, he's always had really good angle coming around this outer zone. Once again, still really good angle from both these guys. Good proximity from Hiroshima. Watch them as they come down the hill here. Well, running very wide there. Hiroshima sort of stalling up. Taguchi catching right up. Well, Hiroshima ran really wide there. He had to back off a little bit to avoid crashing into the wall, taking out the one of the entry cones. Let's watch the replay.
Well, Taguchi just wasn't able to get that very dominating proximity that you're hoping for after a pretty decent lead run. You can see Hiroshima keeping him at bay here. Taguchi looks for an opportunity to attack. You can see Hiroshima goes a little bit long on that first inside clip, but much better here on this second outer zone. Taguchi still about half a car length away as Hiroshima leaves the second part of the course. Now watch, he's going to go very, very long on that last inside clip. Now that might be enough if both runs, all things being considered, were equal up until that point, or I could certainly see a one more time battle here.
Yeah, I could probably see one more time, but that he did screw up pretty badly towards the end of the course, so we haven't seen too many people do that so far, so it was kind of an unusual mistake.
Right.
So we do have a result here, and it looks like it's going to go in the direction of Taguchi. Yes, we have 1, 2, 3 judges in favor of Kazuya Taguchi in the up garage yellow S15, car number 999. He'll be moving on to the Great 8, so congratulations to him. That's the end of the day for Hiroshima. Taguchi also doing quite well all season so far. Okay, so we're moving on to our next battle. We don't have the one more time between Kasahara and Horino just yet. That will be after this battle. Kenji Yamada. Now, Kenji Yamada versus Kenji Yamanaka. Are we okay? We got it right?
What is it? What's their first name?
Kenji Yamada versus... oh, right, yeah. Jamaken. That's his nickname. The lead car, Yamada. Jamaken is his nickname. Very, very nicely presented. Actually, two of the best presented cars here today. Yamada, nice looking S15. That sort of dark plum paint job. Lead car pulling way out ahead. Big angle there from Yamada. Big angle going into the first corner, around the first skid, just tagging that towards the wall. Slight hesitation, but here comes Yamanaka, doing his best to catch up with Yamada. Again, falling behind again as Yamada throws it down the hill. Now, I don't know if I should sort of say this or not, but and I'm not quoting names or anything like that, but it's sort of obvious who the drivers are here who are skilled at, shall we say, spirited mountain night driving.
Well, I mean, certainly here, I mean, the big noticeable element here for this run is that Yamanaka was just not a factor in the chase. He really didn't put any kind of fight into it. He didn't take the fight to Yamada. Not sure if he didn't get off the line properly, but what we've seen from Yamada this weekend is that he's deadly, especially with his timing going up the hill, understanding what he needs to do into that first outer zone. And I would say that he has more than a sizable advantage after run number one because he ran the right line, hit all the clips, and he established a gap, and that's pretty much what you're looking for as a lead driver.
Yeah, definitely. He's got the skills when it comes to running a tight line up against rock walls and concrete barriers. He's that kind of guy, if you know what I mean. Jamaken, this time leading in the S15 Silvia, followed by Yamada in the Tomei. Sorry, the other way around of this time. Kenji Yamada leading, Jamaken following. Now watch the chase run here. Watch the chase. Jamaken in the following S15 Sylvia has to take it to Kenji Yamada, and that is exactly what he's doing here. Watch Yamada get right up in that smoke there. Kenji Yamanaka, well, I mean, there you go. We're talking about taking the battle, taking the fight to him. It's exactly what Jamaken just did there in the S15 Sylvia. Let's watch this replay.
Well, even if you're a novice person or somebody coming into the sport for the very first time, you should be able to discern what happened here after watching those two runs. You can see Yamada had a great lead run. He attacked on the second run. He didn't yet let Kenji get away. Kenji did what he could to lay down a solid lead run, which he pretty much did.
He did.
Not too many mistakes here, but when you've got a driver like Yamada that's literally a foot or two away for the majority of the course, it's going to be really hard to get that victory.
Yeah, I'd love to see some in-car footage from his car there in that following run from Yamada. That would have been a great bit of video to watch, I think. Okay, so here we go. Kenji Yamada, Jamaken, the S15 Sylvia. 1, 2, 3 in favor of him. So he'll be moving on to the Great 8. So Kenji Yamanaka in the Tomei Mark II getting knocked out. Yamada moving on. All right, so that brings us to the end of the top 16, but we do have one more time to go between Kasahara and HORINO. Here we go again. So this time Kasahara, pretty young guy, but has been competing all season, I think, in Formula D in Japan. He'll be leading. He's on the left of screen in the red S15 Sylvia. On the right of screen we have Jin HORINO. He's also a professional racing driver. Really funny guy, speaks English as well. He's in this crazy GTR-powered 180SX it's got leopard skin paint on it, and, wraps and everything. It's a bit of it's sort of the sort of car you'd see someone build in, Forza or one of these sorts of games. It's a bit of a crazy-looking thing. But here we go. This time Kasahara leading, HORINO following. Here comes the entry. Okay, good entry from both these guys. Oh, huge angle. Kasahara, big angle. Is he going to be able to keep his speed up? Yes, he manages to get the power down. HORINO not too phased by that. What he has to do now is catch up with HORINO and get closer to him as he goes down the hill. Doesn't really manage to do it. Kasahara pulling away from HORINO. HORINO's sort of timing there, not quite as good as Kasahara's, but we saw a bit of a big mistake on the start from Kasahara.
Let's take a look at this again here. Kasahara in the lead position here. You can see he's going to go just a tiny bit deep into that zone, but not too much of a hit, just enough to make a slight mistake. Right there, you can see that white standing cone on the wall. That's the beginning of the zone. He gets that back bumper right up against the wall. Now he's got a gap established here as he shoots down the hill, stays pretty tight on that last inside clip as HORINO unable to really close the door. So we've got an opportunity now for HORINO to kind of replicate. What did I do here? Where are we? Oh, replicate what Kasahara did in his lead run and see if he can do something better. But nonetheless, Kasahara, solid start. HORINO now makes his way to the start line. It looks like we've lost Kasahara here. To wonder what's going on in the background.
Just saw him in the background there. He was just almost down at the hot pits. There he is. And it looks like he's going to turn around and head back up to the side. So, okay, so we have another battle. We have a battle here. So we saw that on that entry, Kasahara throwing it really hard, slowing down a little bit too much. But HORINO was able to keep his drift as well and catch up with him towards the inner clip, the first inner clip on the left. But just after that, Kasahara, good line, good angle, good speed, manages to pull away from HORINO. So I would have to say the advantage on this run, going into this run, would be to Kasahara on the right of screen in the Sylvia. This time HORINO leading. Hear the wastegates chatting, turbos chattering. Nice angle there from HORINO in the lead, pulling away from Kasahara. Now Kasahara, can he use his speed advantage to catch up with? Great line there. Oh, throwing it too hard. Kasahara throwing it way too hard into the outer zone. Oh, we have a spin from Horino in the lead. Double spin. That was an unforced error there for Jin Horino. He's probably unaware of the fact that Kasahara wasn't with him.
And that was before the finish line, yes?
It was before the finish line. There, that spin. So a double spin.
Well, that may still be okay for Kasahara because if it's a double spin, it's a double zero on that run, and then we would go back to run number one.
Oh, Horino. Let's watch this replay.
So Horino actually gets a really good start here. You can see Kasahara kind of did what he did in the first run, which was he gave him a little bit of room, then he tried to close the door, but he may have given him too much room and tried to push a bit too hard here because as he leaves the second outer zone, he's going to angle up and not be able to pull it out. Now Horino at this point just needs to finish the run. He's on the throttle. If I were a spotter, I'd tell him just slow it down, get through there, but he spins out. So double zeros will go back to run number one, and that'll be the determining factor of whether or not we've got a victor here in this one more time battle.
You got to wonder if Horino's spotter did actually get on the mic and say, just take it easy, finish the run. So we see there, spin. Okay, so watch this. I wonder what happened. He was doing all right, comes down here and just spins out like there. Sort of, he was very heavy on the power. It looks like he didn't set the car up properly. It looked like the rear of the car was just spinning out a bit too hard. Looked like he was trying to get the power down to accelerate down the hill, but just the fact that it does drop off quite steeply on that part of the course, which may have upset the balance of the car. Of course, this is not a nice, even racing surface here. This is a street course, and that's something that the drivers have to deal with. Hello, that's where we are up here in the judging stand. Up here in our white castle at the top of this hill, looking down on everyone. It looks really cool too because we've got this right in front of us. You see there these sort of rocks. It looks like the foundation of a castle. That's what I like to think anyway. So you can see we have a very good view of the entire course here. Hello. Okay. Say hi to the camera. Just having just clarifying the rules here off the judging stand. We want to make 100% sure they make the right decision for this battle between Horino and Kasahara. If it was just the spin for Horino, I mean, it's almost lucky in a way that Horino didn't spin with Kasahara right behind him because it could have ended up in a collision. But, those two parts of the course. So you can see there, if you look, those foam barriers just to the left of screen, there's like what looks like street signs on that foam barrier. Just behind that, just to the right-hand side is where that finish line cone is. There's like a foam block that's hidden by the street signs, and then just to the right of that is the one that says Formula Drift Japan, and then between that and the next one, that is where the finish line technically is. Now you can see it there, just on the left of the screen, right on the left of the screen, it's that cone there. So really enjoying that, especially this camera angle, really enjoying that camera angle as the guys come up the hill and down the hill. Okay, so we do have a result here. So we have a 1 Andy Yan in favor of Jin Horino, one more time, and another one more time. So, going by that double zero and the result from the first run, we are going to a one more time, another one more time between Jin Horino and Yuki Kasahara. People watching from other parts of the world too, of course Australia. Australia having a big event yesterday, World Time Attack, which had some drifting too. But, hopefully you guys aren't sick of drifting yet. You've joined us here today. The time difference for Australia not too bad. Only about 2 hours difference, I think. And everywhere else in the world, Western Europe, Northern Europe. I know we've got guys watching from there, from South America. All right, here we go. Kasahara versus Horino. We have our second one more time between these two guys. Kasahara leading, Horino following. This time Horino a bit closer. Nice deep edge there from Kasahara, keeping his speed and angle this time. Okay, we have a battle here. Horino, this is it. This is a battle. This is a drift battle here at Koibuki. Horino throwing it down the hill up against Kasahara, keeping a nice consistent distance to Kasahara. Okay, that was a nice clean battle right there.
So here we go, the one more time battle. Again, Kasahara and HORINO. Kasahara in the lead position, trying to get a victor here. Nice job on this first outer zone. HORINO trying to close the door here. Kasahara wrapping around that first inside clip. Great job up against the wall there, filling that entire zone. HORINO not letting him really get away too much here as Kasahara wraps around. And a pretty good job on that last inside clip as HORINO keeps him in tow. So good battle starting off here. HORINO now will move to the lead position, and Kasahara will try to force a lot of pressure on HORINO to find out a victor here before we move on into the Grade 8.
I just noticed there on that run, HORINO in the 180SX, as he came down to the finish line, you saw the smoke come off the tyres a lot more progressively and slowly than last time. Obviously, he's learned his lesson. Right, here we go this time. HORINO leading, Kasahara following. Whoa, big angle there from HORINO. But Kasahara right behind him. Now Kasahara, will he be able to catch up to HORINO? Good line from both these guys, filling the outer zone out towards the wall. Quite a bit of a shallow line there. A spin, another spin from HORINO. Doing the same thing again. All right, we have a result. I think it's safe to say there. HORINO spinning in exactly the same spot. Well, and that was definitely before the finish line that time.
Well, this is the second time I think he's had an opportunity to win here and kind of thrown it away. He got a good lead. Look at that great rate to angle. Fills the entire outer zone. There's a pretty sizable gap established here between him and Kasahara. HORINO wraps around this second outer zone, and he's going to really push here to this third outer zone. And then again, right here before the finish line, too much angle and spins out, and he's going to hand it over to Kasahara from my point of view.
It's a shame, but I'm pretty sure that's going to end up in a result between this battle between Kasahara and HORINO. Whoever wins this battle is going to go up against Andy Gray in the next bracket. So 1, 2, 3 in favor of Masaki Kasahara. That's a shame. HORINO, he had so many chances to win this and didn't manage to do it. That's a bit of a shame for him, but oh well. And it looked like he'd almost learned his lesson there to roll on the power a little bit more progressively, but yeah, still spinning out. That's a bit of a shame. Okay, so that brings to an end the top 16 battles here. Formula Drift Japan Round 4 at Okuibuki. We are going to take a very short 4-minute commercial break. We'll be back after that with the top 8 battles. We'll be right back here at Okuibuki for Formula Drift Japan. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Formula Drift Japan. We are live. We're about to begin the top 8. Hello to everyone joining us from all around the world. I've just been checking my Snapchat, Ryan Sage, and seeing where everyone's watching from. It's amazing. New Hampshire, Canada, Vancouver, which is Canada, East Coast, Toronto. A lot of Canadians watching, funnily enough. People drinking beers. I'm just seeing the Princeton, Minnesota, Midwest. So, it looks like it's about midnight there from Irwindale, California. Oh, I thought you'd be sick of drifting by now. Anyway, Luxembourg Airport. That's amazing. Okay, next battle. Here we go. Yokoi versus Yamashita. Close entry. Look at this deep entry. Big impact there. Oh, whoa, riding up against the wall. Yamashita, big impact there. Yokoi running really deep into that first corner. Whoa, big damage there on Yamashita's car. Now that is a rock wall there. That wall is no joke. Look at the damage on Yamashita's car.
Well, Yamashita certainly hit. Oh, he's leaking some fluid out of the back there as well.
I just mentioned that they just put a brand new rear-mounted radiator set up on that car. It looks like
yeah, it looks like it's a shot now.
Okay, let's look at this replay. So watch how close they were.
Well, both drivers are going to come in real hot here. Yokoi leading the way, but Yamashita comes in. See, his closing rate on Yokoi was much quicker, and it led him deeper into the wall. Yokoi did sustain some damage, but not as bad as that. See, Yokoi looks like he's going to be able to function. It looks more cosmetic than anything, whereas Yamashita certainly looks like he's got some pretty sustained damage, not only on the front end, but primarily on the back end. Let's take a look at this again. You'll be able to see the rate of close here from Yamashita right there, just boom. And he's also on a little bit of a wider line. So unfortunately for him, it looks like both drivers will receive zeros. Now it'll be a matter of whether or not, and it looks to be, we'll ask the judges, but in my mind, those are two independent zeros potentially.
Yeah, I mean, if we do get to see a replay again, it looked like Yokoi did actually go into the wall by himself. He didn't hit it that hard, but he would have gone in anyway. And
well, the lead, I mean, in my experience, the lead is always dictating the pace. And you could make the case that Yokoi basically led Yamashita into the wall because the lead, the chase is supposed to follow the lead wherever he goes. But in this particular case, I think I would say that even though that Yokoi was leading the direction, Yamashita's rate of closing and his line seemed to be a little bit different than actually following Yokoi.
Yeah.
If he was on the inside, he would have ended up somewhere different. So we'll have to see if the judges think the same thing. I'm not sure, but let's watch it again here.
Like
the chase needs to follow the lead. You can see Yamashita's a little bit deeper there, whereas usually you want to be a little bit more on the inside. So I'm going to listen to the judges talk for a little bit here and see if I can divulge any information.
Okay, so yeah, let's watch this replay one more time. So watch Yokoi. I mean, this is the closest entry we've seen so far between two cars that, actually, well, it's not the closest, I was about to say, the closest that didn't result in a collision, but this one also resulted in a collision. Oh, look at that. Like that wall there is massive chunks of like what looks like granite. They are not going anywhere. And, a lot of coolant leaking over the track there. Yamashita's car, the whole rear of it folded up. See there, lots of coolant. Let's watch this again. It's almost like watching a bullfighter. We see here Yokoi. Great angle. Oh, we didn't get to see the rest of that replay. So we see, watch the replay one more time. Watching like a bullfighter lead a bull into the wall.
So what I was asking the judges, I wanted to know whether or not this was, there's only two options in this case. It's either Yokoi's fault or it's two independent zeros. And all three of them agree that it was two independent zeros.
Yeah.
Yokoi obviously does have lead driver responsibilities, but you can see Yamashita's approach here is not as necessarily on the inside here where he would have kind of slowed up and then hit Yokoi. He actually contacted the wall independently and then made contact with Yokoi after the fact. So they are agreeing with the initial thought that it was two independent zeros. And why that's important is because now it'll mean that with nobody at fault, each driver is going to have to use a competition timeout in order to fix their vehicle. Now, if one driver cannot fix their vehicle in the time frame of the 5 minutes and another driver can, then that driver would move forward. So time is of the essence for both drivers. They'll be able to get hands-on cars and have the 5 minutes once the vehicles have gone back to their pits, or the hot grid rather, to be able to work on their vehicles. So here's a look at the crash. This is probably the most dynamic and aggressive crash we've seen this weekend so far, maybe outside of Nien, but certainly in head-to-head competition here. Very, very aggressive crash right into the rock wall there.
Yeah, riding up against the wall there. So we still do have the car of Yamashita, the Weld work wheels JZX 100, just sitting out there on the track. Yokoi hasn't gone back to his proper pits. He's gone back to the hot pit down the bottom of the hill. So see there, one of our start line staff. See there, Koichi Yamashita there. That's a big impact there for that car. With the amount of coolant leaking out, it looks like that the cooling system was fairly heavily damaged. You can see there exactly how close the spectators are to the action here. It's a really good venue. I hope they feel like they got their money's worth so far. All really close. I can see a couple of there's a couple of Aussies there. I met them before. They're traveling around Japan, visiting car events. I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, okay, so not much going on right now, so we're just going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Stay with us. We'll be back with the rest of Formula Drift Japan Round 4. Of course, Formula Drift Japan, we're about to start the Great 8. Everyone watching from all around the world, quick shout-outs: Saskatchewan, Canada, Sydney, Australia, Qatar, watching in Qatar. Also, Sao Paulo, Brazil, getting messages from everywhere all around the world. So, can we get a bit of a result on what just happened there, or are we still waiting for an answer? Ryan Sage.
Preliminarily, what we hear is that Yokoi sustained the least of the damage there. The judges, as we said before the break, gave it as 2 independent incidents, so that means both drivers have to utilize their competition timeout. Clearly, Yamashita sustained more damage. We had some looked like some coolant and some water go down on the track. The original thought was that Yamashita might be able to make it back. It doesn't seem that way now, but we're waiting for confirmation of that. And if that does happen, that means Yokoi would have an easy win into the Final Four, which has basically been his story all day long.
Yeah.
Bye, and then Masuda strikes out, and then initiates into the first corner, and both drivers basically almost knocked themselves out, but one more than the other.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll get back to Yokoi in a minute, but we are in the Grade 8 right now. We just had our first battle that we just saw before the break. Yokoi versus Yamashita, they had a bit of a crash. This is our second battle of the Grade 8. Kazuya Iizuka versus Hayashi. Now, Iizuka doing really well this weekend so far. Not doing that great all season, but he seems to be really confident today and doing very well. I don't want to put a mock on him, but we'll see how far he can go. But he is up against Hayashi, one of the highest ranked drivers here in points, also in qualifying. So Iizuka, left of screen in the white JZX 100 Mark II. Hayashi, S15 Sylvia. Okay, so we have a start here. Entering the course. Okay, good angle from both these guys. Hayashi getting right up close to Iizuka. In a clip. Okay, second outer zone. Collision between the two cars there, Iizuka and Hayashi. Iizuka completing the course, Hayashi following around. Now, there was a bit of collision there. And Ryan Sage, you know what? There is a steel bar right in front of my face where they collided. Up here in the judging stand. So let's watch this replay and get your words on it.
Yeah, I mean, as we get deeper and deeper into competition, certainly we're seeing more aggression from drivers here. You can see Iizuka gets a good jump here on Hayashi. Hayashi does close on the inside as they leave outer zone 1, but then right here after inside clip 1, he's going to attack on the inside and push a little bit too hard, it looks like, on first face and make some contact there.
Yeah, it didn't look like that Iizuka slowed down too much from this angle. It didn't look like it would be that sort of reason for Hayashi to hit him. Also, Iizuka, he was taking the correct line. Let's watch this again. And you see there, outer zone. This is the right sort of line for Iizuka to take. Maybe a little bit too slow there for him, but it's not an issue that we've seen so far. I think Hayashi, not really... I don't know. It's sort of hard to say. The line that Iizuka took was correct. Maybe you could argue that it was a little bit too slow, which Hayashi was trying to keep his momentum up, which caused him to run into the side of Iizuka, which then caused Hayashi to straighten up. Now, it's going to be up to the judges to decide whether or not it was Hayashi being forced by Iizuka to slow down too much, or whether Iizuka was because he was on the right line, whether he is in the right there. But anyway, we're going to continue forward now. This time Hayashi in the blue S15 leading, Iizuka the following sedan JZX 100s. Okay, this is a really good lead run so far here for Hayashi. Very fast, big angle, look at the angle, out of zone. If he is going into this run with a disadvantage, he's doing 120% effort to take it away from Iizuka. Wow, what a blinder of a lead run there from Hayashi. Let's watch the replay and see how this panned out. Hayashi, great lead run there. Iizuka almost a non-entity in that battle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the fault will go to Hayashi, so he's got a lot of room to make up here. Iizuka, maybe kick back a little bit. And we've got a nice, solid lead run from Hayashi here. An impressive run. But did Iizuka commit a zero here? I don't think so. So if the judges are going to give Hayashi a zero there, I'd have to imagine that Iizuka is going to move on.
Yeah, he did do a really good job there, Hayashi. But again, he did collide with Iizuka he did slow down and stop his drift. So there we go, 1, 2, 3 in favor of Iizuka. Ah, what a shame for Hayashi. His lead run there was fantastic. But unfortunately for him, he did collide with Iizuka, the white JZX 100 Mark II. And those are the rules. That's the way it works here in drift competition. It's not a popularity contest. You do actually have to get your drift going right. And unfortunately for Hayashi, getting knocked out there, Iizuka colliding with Iizuka. Of course, the judges would say there wasn't anything wrong with Iizuka's line. He wasn't really going any slower than any of the other guys here. Of course, compared to Hayashi, maybe Hayashi coming a little bit too hot, trying to keep his momentum up. So, Iizuka moving on to the top 4. Now, Iizuka will probably be going up against Yokoi in the next battle. Now, what Yokoi has to do here, this is his solo run after going up against Yamashita. We saw before the break, that big collision up against the the stone wall there. Basically, Yokoi has to prove that his car is still in working order.
Seems to be pretty standard Yokoi there.
Yeah, it was pretty okay there. I think she's apples, mate, as we'd say in Australia. He'll be moving on to the top 4.
Well, and with that, because of the #1 qualification, he's guaranteed at least 3rd place here.
Ah, I see. Okay, so good news there for you. This is just Yokoi should go out and buy a lottery ticket, I think, today. First run, buy run. Second run, Masuda doing hitting the cones 3 times in a row and handing the win to Yokoi. And then again, Yokoi crashing himself, but Yamashita also crashing heavily and being unable to complete his run, moving on to the top 4. That is really lucky. I don't think I've ever seen that good a chain of luck, and that sort of varied amount of luck. It wasn't just like, oh, the other guy broke his car. He had a big accident, and he was basically run into and crashed into a wall there.
Well, you should have watched Irwindale last week.
Oh, is that right?
Ryan Turk didn't even have to battle till the grade 8.
I see. Well, was it buys or the other guys crashed?
Buys, and then he was going up against Mad Mike, I believe, and he had Mike timed out because of an accident that he had.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Next battle now. Andy Gray, #1 in the points. Kasahara doing really well all day today so far. Andy Gray. Now Kasahara shallowing up a little bit to try and keep up with Andy Gray. Can he get the power down and keep up with Andrew Gray? And it's looking like this is Andy Gray's run so far. Kasahara. More of a follow run than a battle there for Kasahara. Andrew Gray filling the entire arena with smoke. Let's watch this replay.
Well, here we go. Andrew Gray taking the lead against Kasahara. Kasahara hard-fought battles here this afternoon and this morning. But Andrew Gray peaking at the right time here, slowly getting better and better throughout the day. You can see how he just threaded the needle there on inside clip 1, stayed deep on outer zone 2, running right up against the wall on outer zone 3, and then back down the hill. He stays tight right there. So a good start for Andrew Gray. Kasahara's got a bit of work to do here on his lead run.
You can see there on that replay there. Great throttle control from Andrew Gray on that final part of the course, negotiating that sort of tricky part of the course. We have seen a couple of spins there so far today. You can see the rear of the car moving around and the smoke sort of coming off the tyres. It's a fairly good indication of how he's using the accelerator. Okay, second run now. This time Kasahara in the S15 leading Andrew Gray, following. Nice entry from both these guys. Andy Gray catching up to Kasahara. Outer zone, Kasahara filling the outer zone. Andy taking a bit of a shallower line, but still keeping good angle and good speed. Okay, great following run there from Andrew Gray up against Kasahara. I think this is looking fairly good for Andrew Gray at this time. Let's watch the replay here.
Well, here we go. Kasahara in the lead position. He's got a bit of ground to make up from my perspective, but he starts off by filling that first outer zone. But you can see right there, Andrew Gray gets the timing just right, stays on the inside, very much mirroring him from that first outer zone, and then putting the pressure on here as they leave the second outer zone and the third outer zone. Back down the hill here, Andrew Gray not letting them run away. So solid for Andrew Gray, current points leader and defending champion, trying to go back-to-back here in 2015-2016.
Yeah, Andy, very good on the top half of the Kasahara, good on the top half of the course, but as you can see there, Andrew Gray doing better probably everywhere else on the course. The winner of that battle, Andrew Gray, moving on to the top 4. So it's been a good fight for Kasahara up until now, but unfortunately for him, Andrew Gray moving on to the top 4. Now he'll be going up against the winner of this next battle here. You see there, Yamada, Jama-ken as he's known, warming up his tyres in the rather luxuriously spacious burnout box down at the bottom of the course. Unfortunately, we have a bit of clouds right now. This car looks absolutely fantastic in the bright sunlight. Yamada going old school and sticking with a nice glittery paint job on that car. Taking nothing away from Taguchi and his Up Garage sponsored S15 Silvia. So we do have an S15 battle here. So Taguchi on the left of screen, the yellow Up Garage car, leading. Yamada following. Now watch Yamada. Yamada's timing is impeccable. Let's see what he can do on this run. Okay, it's pretty good so far for Taguchi. Great outline for both these guys. Taguchi a little bit shallow, allowing Yamada to tuck in. Look how close Yamada is. This is a tandem. This is tandem drifting right here. Yamada right up against his door over the finish line. Really great run there from Yamada. Jama-ken, the following car there. Oh, that final part of the course is one of the best ones I think we've seen so far all day today.
Certainly right across the finish line, and from outer zone 3, the advantage goes to Yamada. But you can see Taguchi gets a good jump on him here, and he fills that zone. So nice job by Taguchi on the first section of outer zone 1, and then right into inside clip number 1. Now from this section here, you can see Yamada starting to eye him up. They leave outer zone 3, and then Yamada right here jumps up on the inside, and he does so by maintaining close proximity and not hitting that inside clip. So he's able to tuck in, find an opening there, and really lay it on. So Taguchi, good first half of the run, but the second half was all Yamada in the chase position.
Yeah, he was all over him. That final camera shot there, as they went over the finish line, was awesome. That was real tandem drifting battle right there. So we'll see what Taguchi can do to make up for an answer. This time, Yamada, Jama-ken, leading on the left of screen. Taguchi on the right of screen, the yellow car following. Here we go, entry. Good entry from both these guys. Nice and close there. Taguchi, whoa, shadowing Yamada's moves. This is looking really good so far for Taguchi. This is his answer to Yamada. Not quite as close over the finish line as Yamada was to Taguchi, but Taguchi, first half of the course. Again, similar to the first run. Taguchi, good on the first half, not quite as good on the second. And
yeah, it was almost kind of like
vice versa.
Opposite here, you know, Taguchi really putting it down here against Yamada, especially in turn 1 and leaving to that outer zone, but not able to finish the job. So you can see Yamada there fills that second outer zone, does a great job here, and then he's able to get enough grip to pull away without running a shallow line. He stays right on that inside clip and pulls a gap there towards the end. So a close battle here between these two guys.
Yeah, great battle between them. I don't know. I think that first run there, that last half of the course, second half of the course on the first run by Yamada, really aggressive and fun to watch. So we have one more time. But like we said, on the second half, there we go. So there you go, one more time. One more time from all three of the judges. Kenji Yamada on the left in the plum-coloured, well, it's sort of plum-coloured now because the sun has gone away. It's sort of more of a blood red in the light. So our battle so far is looking into the top 4. We have Masashi Yokoi versus Kazuya Iizuka. Yokoi guaranteed a third place due to his qualifying position. Going up against Iizuka. I'm pretty sure this is Iizuka's maybe his first time in the top 4. And on the other half of the bracket, Andrew Gray, who won that previous battle. He'll be going up against the winner of the One More Time between Taguchi and Yamada. All right, so speaking of the top 4 battle, here we go. We have them lined up here. Yokoi. Now, Yokoi, by run, then handed the win due to a penalty, and then handed the win due to a crash. Will this be the first hardcore double battle we've seen from Yokoi so far? Doing really well in qualifying yesterday, doing an awesome run, first place in qualifying. Over 90 degrees on the entry on his qualifying run. And then, but you know, going in this morning with a busted steering rack. He's been doing good since then. So I do believe, I'm not sure, I think before we actually go into the next bracket, we're probably going to have to run the One More Time before that, just to keep things in order. So we do have Yokoi and Iizuka up on the line. However, Ryan, I think we're going to be running the One More Time first.
If we run Yokoi and Iizuka now because we're in the final 4, we'll have to wait at some point. So we might as well wait now and get it done. That way we don't have to wait once we get to the final 4.
Okay. So as you heard, we'll be running the One More Time. We'll be keeping the brackets separate from each other just so we don't get any confusion. It had to be the last run of the bracket, didn't it? So that run between Taguchi and Yamada. Of course, they do have time in order to do any sort of work they need to do to their cars. I think we see there down there Taguchi. Yeah, there he is. So there's Iizuka in the white sedan, the JZX 100 Mark II, returning to the pits. We see there Taguchi heading up to the burnout box, and then just there to center left of screen is Jamaken, sitting there waiting and watching. There we go, Taguchi heading up to the start line. In the he'll be leading, so he'll be starting on the left. Then we see there Jamaken warming up. Yep, good enough. Let's get this battle moving. All right, here we go. Final battle. Well, it could be another One More Time. These guys are fairly evenly balanced, but this is the last battle of the Grade 8 bracket. Taguchi versus Yamada. Taguchi on left. By day, he just works at an up garage, selling second-hand parts. By night, hardcore drift driver. Here we go. Watch the entry here. Great angle from both these guys. Straightening up. Yamada straightening up on the entry. Taguchi continuing his run. Nothing wrong with Taguchi's run so far. That is a big mistake there for Yamada on the entry. Despite that, still managing to catch up with Taguchi throughout the entire course. Oh, the speed and the throttle control of Yamada is great, but unfortunately, let's watch this replay. Watch the entry for Yamada.
Well, Yamada, his approach this time around was much more aggressive in trying to chase down Taguchi. But right here, he's just not able to hold drift. He loses drift. I think that's very, very close to a 0 run. Now, unfortunately for him, he'll have a lot of ground to make up. He'll be hoping that Taguchi makes a big mistake in the chase. But in the chase position, Taguchi can breathe a little bit and allow a little bit of space there without feeling too much pressure. So we'll have to see what type of approach he takes here and whether or not his spotter is giving him any advice about what to do moving forward.
Yeah, once again, in that same position, we've seen a lot of mistakes in that exact same spot. People understeering due to the changes in elevation on the track. Of course, the track is not perfectly smooth because it is a street course. Of course, that is that is an issue that people have to deal with. Of course, some of the more street guys here would probably be used to that, but Jamaken sort of understeering there and straightening up. And he will be going into the lead. So the left-hand position on the start line is the lead position. So Taguchi with a bit of leeway here. Of course, I'm sure he's not going to pull his punches too hard. He still has to win this battle. Yamada's going to do everything he can. Let's watch the entry. Nice early entry. A huge angle from Rika Yamada, leading Taguchi all the way to the edge of the track, losing his bumper in the process. Out to the edge of the wall, out of zone. It's a good lead run from Yamada. But Taguchi is right there with him. Good clip from both these guys over the finish line. Will that be enough for Yamada? Not sure it will. It's a good entry there from both these guys, but let's watch the replay. And
well, it was a great event for Yamada. I think he certainly impressed a lot of people, especially the chase that led up to this one more time. But unfortunately, that mistake there that he made, and you can see he's getting a bit over aggressive here, trying to do everything he can to force an air on Taguchi. Taguchi was calm and patient. He kept him in his distance here, and I think that mistake on run number 1 is going to be too much to overcome. It should be Taguchi making a Final Four berth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be. It's unfortunate for Jamaken. Maybe it looked like he tried to lead Taguchi as deep as he could into that first corner.
And a real interesting statistic as we see Taguchi getting the win here. But look at the Final Four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Qualifiers. Ah, I see. Okay, so in our next battle we have qualifier number 1, Yokoi, versus qualifier number 4, Iizuka. And then qualifier number 2, Gray, versus qualifier number 3, Taguchi. So, there you go. That's interesting. All right, so moving on to the semi-final now. Top 4. So anyone watching from the United States, you probably know Yokoi from his time in Formula D USA, Formula Drift in the States. This year competing in the Japanese series and doing really well at it. The first battle, we did have them lined up before, but we had to get them out of the way for the one more time between Taguchi and Yamada. But here they are again. So top 4 battle now. Masashi Yokoi on the left, Kazuya Iizuka on the right. Yokoi, Team Mind Control versus Iizuka, Team Himawari. They're not in teams today. That's having a one-man versus man battle here today. Here we go, starting the first battle of the top 4. Yokoi, Iizuka, watch the speed of these two guys. Yokoi, Iizuka right up against Yokoi. Well, great entry from both these guys. Iizuka right up against the door of Yokoi. We got a battle here. Again, Iizuka stalling up a little bit. Stalling up, losing his angle a bit up against Yokoi. Yokoi continuing his run. Oh, that was a great first half of the run for Iizuka, but as he got into the second outer clip, sort of losing his drift and stumbling around there, not keeping his drift going. Let's watch the replay. Watch this entry.
Very aggressive here by Yokoi and Iizuka. Nice entry right there. You can see almost backwards, but Iizuka tucks up on the inside. I mean, a great start for him. Right here as Yokoi reaches into this first outer zone or second outer zone, there's a big mistake right there by Iizuka in the chase position. So a great start by Yokoi, and even I would say almost better by Iizuka from that first to second outer zone, but then that mistake leaving the second outer zone, leaving it open, the door open for Yokoi in run number 2.
Yeah, there was just that slight point of hesitation there for Iizuka on the second outer zone, which unsettled his car, and he just sort of couldn't really recover from that. That chase run there from Iizuka. Here we go. So swapping around this time. Iizuka leading. Iizuka in the white sedan. Yokoi following him again. Another great entry here. Iizuka running really wide. Yokoi right up against his door. Whoa! Very slight amount of contact there between the two. Iizuka stalling out in the same position. Now this is interesting because Yokoi finishing the run. Now, we did see a very slight amount of contact in outer zone number 2 between Yokoi and Iizuka. Now, I really want to see the replay of this, because there was a bit of contact, but was it because Iizuka stalled up too much, or was it because Yokoi ran into him? So let's watch the outer zone number 2. First of all, let's watch the entrance.
I believe it's going to be on Iizuka. There was, at least to me, clearly a big stall up on the middle of outer zone 2. Right here, you can see he gets big angle, and he's stopping. You can see that the rear wheels were not moving, and he was not on the gas there, so it clearly seems to be on Iizuka from my perspective.
Yeah, on that collision there, that definitely was on Iizuka. We could also see that during the transition from the inner clip to the first inner clip to the second outer zone, there was a bit of contact between the nose of Yokoi's car and the rear of Iizuka's car. Of course, fairly inconsequential. Watch the front of Yokoi's car just there. He just scuffs the front of his car on Iizuka's rear bumper. Of course, that being an inconsequential, just a little rub there. But, yeah, Yokoi continuing and completing his run. Iizuka stalling up on that outer clip. We can just see there, just right there is where he stalled up. So a bit of a shame there for Iizuka, who's doing quite well in that run. I think probably one of the most impressive guys on their follow run so far. So let's watch this replay one more time.
Yeah, you'll see it. I believe this is incidental contact. I don't think it has any real relevance to what happened after the fact. But right there's a little bit of scrubbing by Yokoi attacking. But after that, Iizuka was basically on the e-brake. I don't know if he was maybe trying to draw the foul or just had a problem there. But from my perspective, that was clearly Iizuka's mistake, and I think the judges will likely agree, and it should be a win for Yokoi to the finals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Iizuka's the kind of... I don't think he's not the kind of guy who would try and draw a foul, that's for sure. He's kind of used to that rough driving. So there we go, 1, 2, 3 in favor of Masashi Yokoi. So Kazuya Iizuka getting knocked out in the top 4. Great result for him compared to the rest of his season. But Yokoi moving on to the final battle here today at Okuibuki. Round 4, Formula Drift Japan. We've seen some good battles here today. This is an interesting layout. It's pretty much the first time most of these guys have ever driven here. Also, the first time there's been a competition of this size here at this venue as well. So, fresh for everybody. And interesting, just before you pointed out there, Ryan, that the top 4 qualifiers are actually the guys who are in the top 4. So, sort of proving the fact that guys who can drift well, if they can do it solo or tandem, they tend to do fairly well no matter what. Okay, so second battle now. It will be Taguchi. Here we have Taguchi in the Up Garage S15 Sylvia. Warming up his tyres. Heading up to the start line, where Andrew Gray is already waiting. Andrew Gray at Power Vehicles, Kazama Auto, JZX100 Mark II. Sorry, Chaser this time. He's always switching cars. I can't forget which is which. Okay, here we go. This is the second top 4 battle. Gray on the left, Taguchi on the right. All right, here we go. Here comes the battle. Andrew Gray going through the chicane, leading this run. Taguchi, Andy burning up the tyres up the hill. Watch Taguchi catch up with him, right up against him on the first corner. Okay, here they switch back. Andrew Gray, good angle from Andy around this entire course. The Taguchi also good proximity. Really good proximity and angle there from Taguchi on the following run, but Andrew Gray, stout lead run there. Getting the power down really early. That was a good lead run from Andy Gray, but also a good following run there from Taguchi.
Well, there will be somebody that will lose this battle, but there's really no real losers overall here, because whoever does win will be going on the finals. Whoever does lose because of qualifying will be getting third place. You can see Taguchi pushing hard here as Gray wraps around that inside clip. Taguchi does not want Gray to get away, keeps him in his sights here, takes that tighter line to gain proximity. But Andrew Gray, big smoke line here as he reaches to that outer zone and then down the hill as both drivers put a big cloud of smoke right up in front of the judges' stand, and a nice show for the fans.
Yeah, it was, that was definitely a good run. Exciting run to watch for these two guys. They kept it they kept it nice and consistent for the entire run, which sort of raised the tension as the run went on. It's good to watch. Okay, so second run now. This time Taguchi in the S15 Sylvia will be leading. Andrew Gray in the Chaser will be chasing. Okay, leading up to the first corner. Okay, really wide line there from Taguchi. Andrew Gray almost stalling up, almost understeering. Taguchi Good line there, Andrew Gray.
Oh, wow.
Proximity from Andrew Gray.
Little tap.
There was a little bit of a tap there too, over the finish line. Ooh.
Well, Andrew Gray was...
Big round of applause from the spectators here. Let's watch this replay.
Well, Andrew Gray was definitely pushing the pace here, and maybe a little bit too much at the beginning because he gets choked up right here on the inside. You can see Taguchi was taking the line away, and he's got the right away. He did fill that zone. Gray, on the other hand, really, really aggressive here, trying to get one back. You can see rubbing of the tires right there, pushing super hard to try to nullify anything that the judges might use against him on that initiation. And a great battle back and forth, and a very rare clap from the audience in Japan. We typically see very, very reserved. And here's that run one more time. You can see Taguchi is going to come off that zone, and right there it's going to pinch Andrew Gray, who's on the inside a little bit. So in my mind, a little bit of a mistake there from Gray. But now he's really chasing down Taguchi to try to get that back. Very aggressive here. He had a little bit of tire-to-tire rub, and then right there, another opportunity to close the door, and he does it.
It was an exciting battle, exciting set of battles we just saw there. Here at Akuibuki for Formula Drift Round 4. So we saw the winner of the other top 4 battle, Masashi Okoi. He'll be going up against the winner of this battle between Andrew Gray and Taguchi. I keep switching between saying Andy and Andrew. Just say Andy from now on. Andy. So we do have a result here. So will it go left? Will it go right? 1 in favor of Taguchi, 2 in favor of Taguchi, and 3 in favor of Taguchi. Well fought battle between these two. Kazuya Taguchi, the Up Garage S15, taking out that battle against Andrew Gray. That was a very close battle, very well fought between these two. So Taguchi will be going up against Masashi Okoi in the final. Great effort from him. Okay, so we do have a short break here for the Yokoi and Taguchi to prepare for the final battle. We're just going to go to a quick commercial break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We are back. We are live. We are here at Akuibuki. What the heck is Akuibuki? Well, it's a ski resort where there's no skiing today. There's lots of big white clouds, but it's being made by drift cars, Formula Drift Japan. Round 4 here at Akuibuki. We are about to have the final battle of the day. The last battle of the year. Unless there's going to be one more time. And there very well may be, because these two guys are, I guess, fairly well balanced between the two of them.
Well, the stories are quite different, though. Taguchi has had only 1 bye run, quite a few battles. He's had a one more time against Yamada, and he's had a rough go of it. Yokoi, on the other hand, has had a rough go of it, but only when he crashed into the wall.
Right.
Outside of that, a bye in 32, a strikeout with Masuda, crashed out with Yamashita, and then we got a good battle there with the Iizuka. So he's starting to warm up a little bit, but Taguchi's been working all day.
He's been a busy man. He did have a one more time up against Jamaken. Managing to get the better of that, just barely. Thanks to some mistakes by Jamaken. So our final battle here today. You can see the lovely scenery. You can see there the river over which the drivers are driving. You can see the Suzuki reeds, I don't know what you call them, blowing in the breeze down there. It's a lovely late summer, early autumn scenery here in Shiga Prefecture in Japan. Lovely venue, very good for the spectators. You can see, oh, there we go, you have the hawk flying by. There you go. Oh, lovely. Beautiful, beautiful. Actually, it might just be a crow, but anyway. That's what I was saying there, the Suzuki. There's a big fluffy things blowing in the breeze there. It's very symbolic of Japan in this time of year. But never mind that, we've got drifting and horsepower to deal with here right now. See here, Masashi Okoi pulling up to the start line after doing his warm-ups in the burnout box there. So Yokoi's car handling the day well so far. He had some power steering issues this morning. He had to complete his first bye run with no power steering at all. But the car's been running strongly since then. And here we have TAKANOHASHI in the Up Garage S15 Silvia. Of course, that car performing very well all day today as well. I don't believe he's had any issues with it yet. All right, here we go. We're about to start the final battle. Looking forward to seeing this. Here we go on the left of screen. Masashi Yokoi, S15 Silvia. Right of screen. TAKANOHASHI in the Up Garage sponsored S15. Here we go. So S15 battle. All right, here we go. Final about to start. Here we go.
Who you got, Alexi? Who you got?
Oh, I don't know about these two, but man, Yokoi, I don't know. Yokoi, that's what's the entry. Yokoi is surging ahead. Whoa, really wide.
Almost
wide
did it again.
line there. Almost did it again, Yokoi. Oh! Understeer from TAKANOHASHI. Yokoi on fire in this lead run. Huge amounts of smoke coming into the back. Hard on the accelerator for Yokoi. Oh, TAKANOHASHI. Huge mistake there. Oh, Yokoi. Now, dude, I want to watch this replay. Let's watch this. I want to watch this 5 times in a row. Let's watch this again. Here we go.
So Yokoi almost does it again here. You can see big flick. Great job there, but goes a little bit long. Almost goes into the rocks. But then watch Taguchi right here. Big straightening right before inside clip 1.
No.
Meanwhile, out front, Yokoi laying down a solid lead run here after going just a little bit long and then very much lacking the angles. Taguchi on outer zone 3. So a great lead run from Yokoi. Taguchi, not so good of a chase, but now he's got an opportunity to go back and try his hand at comparing a lead run to Yokoi's.
Yeah, see if he can do that.
See if he can do that.
Man, that mistake, again, TAKANOHASHI, that same part of the track that a lot of other people have made a mistake on, he did that. Yokoi, whoa, Yokoi's lead run there was amazing. And here we go, second run now in the final battle. TAKANOHASHI leading, Yokoi following. Let's watch this. Okay, great angle from both these guys. Good entry. He stalls out. Oh, Yokoi hitting the wall. TAKANOHASHI stalling up his drift. TAKANOHASHI now, that was not Yokoi. I don't want to say it's not someone's fault because it's always their fault, but Yokoi dodging TAKANOHASHI, doing his best to try and keep his speed up.
Well, it's really interesting. We deal with this a lot in
Whoa, look at the damage on the front court. Whoa, that car is...
Never thought anybody would hit there.
Does it start pretty and gritty?
We deal a lot with this in drifting. You know, when you're driving down the road in the freeway and anytime you hit somebody from the rear, it's always your fault.
Yeah.
But in drifting, we're asking these guys to drive so close, and you can see some of the consequences of that.
Okay,
Taguchi right here is going to angle up and lose.
He collided with the rear of TAKANOHASHI. You could see the front wheel of Yokoi there suddenly straighten up. So he did collide with the rear of TAKANOHASHI, but it wasn't so much that TAKANOHASHI pushed him over, and it wasn't so much that Yokoi steered in there. His wheels straighten up. Now watch, if you can, watch the front of Yokoi's car, where he, just there, you see,
but look at Taguchi was going straight before that happened. It's going to be, watch, if you look real closely, you watch through the front wheels of Taguchi. He's not going to be able to hold the angle that he has. He's going to straighten up, and Yokoi's really going to have nowhere to go. At least that's what I see.
Yeah,
if we get it from that other angle, we'll be able to tell a lot clearer.
Yokoi obviously. It was the collision with the rear of TAKANOHASHI's car which forced the front wheel of Yokoi's car to straighten out the front wheels, which were at angle. He was doing his best. Obviously, he was doing his best to try and. There's Yokoi there.
Well, I am hearing from the judges that there is a result.
Okay.
So it's not going to be a one more time, and. From my perspective, and we'll bring in Ryan Lantain here to get his perspective. From my perspective, it seemed like Taguchi had a lot of angle coming out of outer zone 1. He straightened the front wheels, and Yokoi really didn't have anywhere to go because he was in such close proximity. Here it is again.
So let's watch this replay. So watch Taguchi. Watch when he straightens out. He's already in an understeer. Yeah, you see there. he threw it in too hard.
Ah, wow, right on the corner
Yeah,
there.
right on the corner there. Now, if you can watch this replay. TAICHI, he throws. Okay, we're going to get some comments from Judge Ryan Lantane.
I think I overheard what you guys are saying, and I think you're on the right page on what we're considering what happened here. You can see that Taguchi was pushing really hard, went really wide there, straightened up, and essentially hit the front wheels of Yokoi. He had nowhere to go in that instance. We were saying in the chase position, Taguchi looked like he had a hard time keeping up. He was fighting really hard. It almost looked like he was just a few steps behind Yokoi, but really fighting hard to keep up. Now in the lead position, he knew he had to push really hard, and he might have just pushed a little too hard in that area and outside zone 1, which caused him to straighten up. And it's unfortunate that Yokoi was doing his job. He was on the inside exactly where he should be when Taguchi lost angle there, hit his front wheels, caused him to straighten, and he had absolutely nowhere to go. That wall was very close because of the line that they had to take because of Taguchi's going really, really deep in outside zone 1. So unfortunate for Yokoi, but I do not believe that it was his fault. That was definitely not something that was caused by anything that he did other than being in the right spot in that point in time.
Or the wrong spot. I mean, he was doing his best. You could see he was doing his best to keep his drift going and maintain his drift, like to keep up with Taguchi, like we've seen a lot of people do so far who have sort of understeered and lost their drift at that particular spot, right?
Yes, yeah, and we always talk about this, that Yokoi is one of the best in the world at maintaining drift behind a car that might not be doing what it's supposed to do.
Right.
We always use him as an example when people say, oh, that it's impossible to chase a lead car when they make a mistake or they straighten up a little bit or they lose drift. Yokoi is always the one that is so skilled at maintaining drift, maintaining proximity, and being able to read what the lead car is doing before they really even do it. So in this instance, he was doing that very same thing. He was maintaining drift. He was behind that lead car. It's just unfortunate that that car snapped and hit his front wheel the way that it did.
Yeah.
It's a perfect situation for this crash to happen.
Yeah.
And this is not an area we ever expected somebody to make contact with the wall. We had, ideas, the rocks where people went in a couple of times, maybe the bridge, somebody went a little too hot, but definitely not on the inside there. That's just something that we never expected to happen.
Yeah.
Luckily, there was a wall there, and it protected them from going down into the river.
I mean, behind that concrete wall is about a 6-meter drop down to a river.
Exactly.
So better that than better hitting the wall than going over it, or even going over it. He could have ridden up on the back of Taguchi's car, which we've seen that before, right?
Before.
Cars jump up. He could have potentially jumped over the wall into the river. So probably the best result we could possibly see from that particular situation.
So for our American fans at home, what would 6 meters equal in feet? Is that 18, 19 feet? Is it 3.3, right?
It's like 6 foot. Is it 6 foot? 6'6" is like 2 meters. So
Okay.
I don't know.
I think it's...
I've lived in metric countries my entire life.
It's just, it's over 18 feet. It's 3.3 per meter. So
6 meters in feet.
18.9 then. Right around 19 feet. So
Siri.
it's pretty far. You wouldn't want a car to go down there, which is why the course is laid out the way it is.
Check that. Okay, I found this on the web for 6 meters.
All right.
It's not going to give you an
6
exact
meters in feet.
Yeah, it's a cool track. We love the way it's laid out.
It's about 20 feet down.
Okay, there we go. So
There
it's
you
pretty
go.
far down. It would be an ugly crash if a car went down there.
Yeah.
But it makes for a really great backdrop, being in the mountains here with that
It's-
river. I guess it's more of a
Yeah.
creek or a ravine, whatever you want to call it, flowing down there from the mountain. But
Yeah.
beautiful layout here.
Ugh.
I think that it was a really cool layout, something very different from what we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
The street style course that we have here, and made for a pretty good show. You can see that it was very technical too. I think a lot of people assumed it was a very easy track to drive through.
Yeah.
I think people underestimated the complexities
Yeah,
of
it
this
is.
track and the amount of slowdown that was necessary, whereas a lot of the drivers are accustomed to big tracks. Even in Japan, I'm not talking about a big track, but a flowing track where a lot of throttle is necessary, whereas here it's very technical in the sense that you need to speed up, initiate, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, and you can't get carried away on the throttle, which you could see in the beginning. It really caught a lot of drivers off guard. So having to adapt to that, I think, was a big challenge for a lot of them. But they did a really great job over the course of the practice sessions and really figuring it out. So
You're
I like
right.
right now that they're not moving Yokoi's car. They're going to use
just
that as the starting point
Yeah.
for the parking of the 1, 2, 3 finishers. So that's pretty convenient that he ended up right in front of the fans like that.
That is true. It's not as pretty as the other two cars pulling up right now. But hey, look, he's still there. So there we go. Thank you, Ryan Lantane. one of our judges here today, also one of the judges in the series in the United States, giving his word on what happened there. So, yeah, a bit of an unfortunate result there for Yokoi. So here we go. We have our podium here. First, second, third place. Taguchi, Yokoi, Gray. It's been an interesting battle so far. Now, like Ryan said, it was, this track ended up being a lot more complicated and difficult than it initially looked. Like you said, there was a lot of speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. And
well, look at the differences between what the tracks that we've gone to over the years and this year as well. You know, Suzuka Twin, Ebisu.
Yep.
Last year, Fuji.
Yep.
So you've got a wide array of courses that have different attributes. And this one, I think, in particular, is one of the more challenging because of how unique the setting is. You've got uphill, you've got, like Ryan said, on throttle, off throttle. And it really caters to a driver that is comfortable moving around in his car a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of movement going on there as we now get ready for the ceremony here. Final event of the year at Ukiabuki of the G-Shock Formula Drift Japan Championship.
Okay, so this is the award ceremony. Andy's car looking like it came through without a scratch on it this weekend. That nice new paint, wrap job on it. Hands out of your pockets in. Come on.
What's he saying? He's like, hey, this is a good
oh, sorry, I'm not even listening.
He's saying this is a good guy. Thanks for making it out.
Basically, announcing. Sorry, I should be listening to our Japanese commentator and translating. So basically, third place today, Andrew Gray. So in second place today, Kanama 70.
No, that's first place.
Oh, is it first place?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do
winner.
First place, then second place.
Screwed up at the last minute. So Yokoi first place today. Taguchi, obviously. I knew that anyway. Why did I say that? I knew that Yokoi won anyway.
Just pulled a Jared.
Sorry. Oh, don't want to do that. So Taguchi, second place today, and the winner of this round 4, Formula Drift Japan here at Okuibuki, Masashi Yokoi. His car not looking in the best of condition, but he is the winner. So mangled metal on one side, but he does get a little trophy to take home in compensation for that. So there we have our three results for today. First place, Masashi Yokoi. Second place, Taguchi. Third place, Gray. So just giving them a round of applause for Look how tired they all look.
It looks like a little frowny face there.
They're all like, oh my god, we're so tired. And jeez. Do we need to get like Vaughn Gittin out here to stand on his roof and whip his hat around or something to G everyone up?
Yeah, I mean, coming from the U.S. to here is a completely different vibe. I mean, It's not that people don't appreciate the skill and talent of these drivers; they're just much more reserved, here as opposed to in the U.S. where everybody's really, really raucous and crazy and all that kind of stuff. So,
look, the flag marshal tripped over. Everyone cheer! Yay! All right, so that is the end of this event. We're just going to have the award ceremony, which we're not going to broadcast. We're just okay. So, hello. We're going to end it here today. Thank you so much for... Sesso, move out of the way. Got to get our light. Thank you so much for joining us all around the world. We've been getting messages from everywhere around the world. Thank you so much for being with us here this weekend at Okuibuki. This is the last round of Formula Drift Japan. So this is the last Formula Drift event in the entire world for this year. That is right. We've already had the final in the United States. This is the final here. What else is on the calendar for Formula Drift? You have SEMA.
Yeah, we've got some big SEMA announcements coming up, and a little bit of planning before we get to SEMA, and then a lot off season to make the 2017 season as awesome as possible, including here at FD Japan.
Awesome. So, looking forward to seeing you guys next year again in Japan, also in the United States for the United States Series. Really looking forward to it. This has been Alexi Smith here with Ryan Sage, your commentators for today's event. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you again in 2017 for Formula Drift Japan.
See ya.
See you then.